Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks, here to bring you your weekly flesh and blood market update. I hope you guys are out there having fun with this game. I hope some of you got to get to Pro Tour, play some games, win some prizes, win some tickets, whatever it is you like to do. I hope you had a good time. I know Tommy and I did. We'll be going over that this podcast Sunday. Well, we do it on Sunday. I think it pops. Oh, no, it pops on Sunday. Yeah. Let's jump into the markets. There's a lot of activity that's probably mostly related to Pro Tour. You'd think things would just go off based on what won and all that sort of thing, but it does not look like it. I think the majority of it is just about the new news that we're seeing. And then, of course, the post hype kind of hangover, if you will. So let's jump in. We'll talk about it, go through it one by one. All right, so Crew Unlimited boxes are down 8.6% to 114 from 124. Not too crazy. If you recall, we've been at this high for a while. This is still above the previous kind of pop-up area. So we'll look at the chart, but basically that's a solid sign that this is a new floor. We'll see, though. We need to give it another week or two because it could continue down. I personally don't think that it will, but I could be wrong. It really depends on what people think the new meta shakeup is and if there's cards in this box that are valuable, especially as an unlimited product. Moving on to Mon, popped 19.23%. Obviously, this is hype around Dusk Till Dawn related to the announcements, the angels, all the stuff we've seen. There's going to be cards in these boxes that people want for the new sets, and that's probably what people are buying them up for. Moving on to the cases, unlimited crew cases down 6.33% to 444. It's low. So this is a case where it leaked off the side, right? We saw it retrace. We were saying, it could be fine. But it's low. It's lower. It's not as low as it was a month and a week ago at this 417 mark. It's still above this previous area, so I think it's okay. Let's look at the chart, but basically letting things cool off is not too crazy when it jumps up as high as it did. And remember, this was a big jump. That was one we said, ooh, that's not going to hold because it jumped really high really quickly. So cooling off is pretty normal. Rubber band theory, as Rudy likes to say. Mon, again, up 22.87% to 274. That's for the unlimited case. This will cool off, I'm sure, at some point, but probably not right away. We are looking at a hype cycle that is crazy. Moving on to the first edition products, WTR first edition box down to 5991, 33.43% drop. Again, this is all artificial. I don't think it's really worth taking into too much consideration. The last sale was actually in the same sort of range. I believe it went to 32K, something like that, or 3,200, give or take. It might maybe even hit near 4. Point being that these list prices are kind of artificial, and you can get much better deals through discussions. Even looking at the shops at the Pro Tour itself, they had pretty decent deals on boxes like this. So it's not, the list price is not realistic at this point with this product. It's still interesting to track, and it does give you some sense of the market dynamics, but it's that which is the part I'm most interested in, but it is not a list price. It's not something you want to use as a quote when you're trying to sell or buy this product. Moving on, ARC is down 5.8%, 83% to 2260 from 2400. Nothing really crazy here. I think it's just cooling off a little bit from where it has moved up. Let's see where it lands before we worry about anything. I think it's fine. Crew is down 12.08% to 699 from 795. That's a pretty substantial drop. Worth keeping an eye on because it's a double drop from this 800 mark. Now remember, again, same thing. It jumped from 500 to almost 900. That was an insane leap. Cooling off as expected. Where this lands is what's most important to determine whether or not we're going to see the new price levels hold and come back up. Or if it was all artificial, if this was just like an anomaly move. I personally think that we're going to hit a new tier. The question is, how wide of a channel does it create? Is it going to be between 700 and 900? Is it going to be from 550 to 900? Is it going to, where it lands will make the difference on where the price action is likely to go from here. Mon down 12.2% to 122 from 138. This is Moving on to the first edition products, WTR first edition box, down to 5991, 33.43% drop. Again, this is all artificial. I don't think it's really worth taking into too much consideration. The last sale was actually in the same sort of range. I believe it went to 32K, something like that, or 3,200, give or take. It might maybe even hit near 4. Point being that these list prices are kind of artificial, and you can get much better deals through discussions. Even looking at the shops at the Pro Tour itself, they had pretty decent deals on boxes like this. So it's not, the list price is not realistic at this point with this product. It's still interesting to track, and it does give you some sense of the market dynamics, but it's that which is the part I'm most interested in, but it is not a list price. It's not something you want to use as a quote when you're trying to sell or buy this product. Moving on, ARC is down 5.8%, 83% to 2260 from 2400. Nothing really crazy here. I think it's just cooling off a little bit from where it has moved up. Let's see where it lands before we worry about anything. I think it's fine. Crew is down 12.08% to 699 from 795. That's a pretty substantial drop. Worth keeping an eye on because it's a double drop from this 800 mark. Now remember, again, same thing. It jumped from 500 to almost 900. That was an insane leap. Cooling off as expected. Where this lands is what's most important to determine whether or not we're going to see the new price levels hold and come back up, or if it was all artificial, if this was just like an anomaly move. I personally think that we're going to hit a new tier. The question is, how wide of a channel does it create? Is it going to be between 700 and 900? Is it going to be from 550 to 900? Is it going to, where it lands will make the difference on where the price action is likely to go from here. Mon down 12.2% to 122 from 138. This is weird considering all the other Mon stuff. I guess people aren't valuing the cold foils because you're seeing a spike in the unlimited for playable cards, I would assume, but not for the Mon first edition boxes. Not sure. If you have any hints out there, or you have friends who are out there buying these but not buying these, let me know. I'd like to hear. Next up is WTR case, first edition case. I am going to highlight this because I want to shout out these guys. They're really awesome. At the Pro Tour, I got to talk to one of the vendors, spending a little bit of time chatting about, their sales and what was going on. They had this listed for $20,000 at an event, which usually carries a premium, right? Not necessarily in this case because it's WTR, people aren't really going to get that and crack it so they can go play with the cards, right? But point being that they had it at $20,000 listed. I did tell them about the Rudy price, what he said. I don't think it mattered to them. And apparently the box that they had, the serial number, there's someone that's tracked them all for which ones came with good clean cuts and which ones came with like the chipping. If you remember WTR first, it was, or Alpha, there's oftentimes cuts that had like a little bit of a fold, like it was a dull knife that cut the cards, a little bit of a chip on the corner. It's one of those things why it's really hard to get 9.5 and above graded WTR. Because the cuts and stuff were just weren't the best, and so there was a lot of marking and marring on the cards. That's what happens when you're brand new to making cards, right? You just don't get the quality perfect. Point being, these guys had a serial number that essentially was one of the ones that's considered a good lot, apparently. Again, I don't know much about this, so you have to do your own research, but I did want to shout out who it was. This is the logo. It's collectibles, one collectibles.com. So the number one collectibles.com. Collectibles in the URL is spelled correctly, not like this. So don't do this.com. That won't work. Well, actually, hold up. I can just show you right there. Onecollectibles.com. There you go. These guys were freaking awesome. Tommy, we told this story in the other video, but Tommy left his deck box there with everything that he owned that's of great value to him, and they held on to it for him. They could have easily done any sort of nefarious thing, taken it, given it to someone, sold it, whatever, right? Any number of things could have been done. They were totally stand-up guys. In fact, they stayed late after the entire building shut down. They were the last shop to close up because they were waiting for someone to come back for that box. So really stand up guys, really cool, and happy to give them a shout out. And they also gave us a new list price for this. So until I hear a new list price from here, I think we'll probably keep it at this. Let me know in the comments if you think that's a terrible idea or whatever. But this was a price that they had listed. You cannot buy that on the website, I imagine, because it's too large a transaction for them to trust over the internet anonymously. So if you do want to try to reach out to them, you'll probably have to call them and like make an arrangement situation. But they did have it listed there at the Pro Tour. So this is a real live, could be purchased today type price. And trust me, I was tempted. I just don't have 20K to throw at it right now, and I have a lot of other priorities for my investments. But yeah, it's worth noting. All right, moving on. ARC first edition case up 30% to $14,999. I mean, again, a list price. Point is, it's listed again. So now we know, what the list price is, but take it with a giant grain of salt. I think I saw these listed as low as 5,000 to 7,000 in various places. So I don't really see this as a realistic price. It is what it is. Mon down 5% to 559 from 589. Again, I don't get it. Why is the first edition less valuable? It doesn't make sense to me. Maybe we'll see something in the charts that will give us an indication, but I don't think so. I don't get it. Maybe these hyped on the first news about Dusk Till Dawn, and these didn't? That's true. That's actually true. So they're just catching up now? Maybe Unlimited is just delayed. I don't know. Let me know your craziest theory in the comments. Hashtag Mon is nuts. Uprising down 12.23% to 280 from 319. Yeah, this is pretty low. Actually, all three of these are really low. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Kind of curious. It's a little unnerving because 2.0 is supposed to be pretty well restricted on supply. I'm wondering if new waves are coming out or something, because these are really quite discounted price. They are below map. I guess maybe LSS isn't enforcing map like they used to or something. But we'll see what happens. I do think that they will eventually rise back to map. I personally, I like free markets. I think map, while it's very good for shops and letting them operate effectively, have a margin and all that stuff, having the market free float a little bit gives you better data. So from that standpoint, I think it's better. I fully support map. I think it's a great concept and it's good for the shops and healthy for the whole community. So I'm 100% behind map. I just, from a data analysis perspective, it's artificial when you're just sitting at map. You just don't know what's actually happening to the value of the product. It may be dropping like a rock. It may be climbing. It may be sitting flat. You just have no idea when there's map, because it's that artificial floor. So seeing it go below map is a little concerning. Maybe LSS is loosening up a little bit on that. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how that goes. But just as a shout out reference to it, down 12.23% for Uprising to 280, down 5.85% to 306. Now we did see this climb back up, but this is still all below map, so not sure what's up with that with Outsiders. I think we'll have plenty of both these products for a while. These are drafting products, so I hope they stay on the shelves for a while, and that's a good thing. Like, it should be this way, because playability is definitely first. I did want to point out, oh yeah, here we go. For ARC, there was some sales, ARC first boxes at 2,400 and 2,300 somewhat recently, like in the past month or so. So this price is actually lower than the sales that have happened in the past. So call this a quote unquote discount off an actual market sale price. So that was that. All right, let's jump into the charts real quick. WTR up and to the right. That's how we like it, especially when it's happening in Unlimited. That's good stuff. It's good to see it climbing finally after that dump onto the market for the what was that event called, the WTR Farewell to Wrath or whatever event. Awesome event. Good to have the product out there, but seeing it climb after time is also healthy. We got a $3 ARB opportunity on ARC Unlimited. We are at some cooling off. You can see it in the chart here. We talked about this. If we stay above this 519, we're solid. If we drop below it and it climbs down to here, even this is still fine. It just means we're in this big range bound, and we'll see it go like this between that price area till it tightens up on a price, and then it'll jump again. For now, let's see if it gets below 519. We'll talk about that as the weeks go on. Crew, see, this is that channel I was talking about. So we got a high, sunk down, stayed above the previous high, right? High, sunk down. Is it staying above this area? We'll see. I'm guessing it does, and we continue on an upward trend because there is a supply and demand concern here. So that this pattern, I wish I could draw lines on this. Maybe I can draw lines on this. Can I draw lines on this? I don't know. I'll look it up. If I could draw lines on this, I would show you this curving off here and this curving off here. It's a typical, somewhat of a regression pattern that you can see happen when you get to these new plateaus. It's an adoption curve. It's used in a lot of different things. But ultimately, what it means for this is it gives us a band to focus on. And if it falls outside of that band, then that indicates different factors. If it's below, then that's a great buy time, typically speaking. If it's above, then that's where you should sell into it. And the tighter you can make that band, the more data information you can get. Now, we don't have enough data points to do this stuff. Well, I mean, I guess technically we do, but it would be a really crappy fit. But point being, you can use that as a basis to take a look at, where are we? Is this a discount, or is this a selling opportunity? And it's good to know those things when you're trying to move between markets and swing trade, essentially. Though I don't recommend swing trading cards. It's a very crazy market. No real ARB opportunity, just $3 for the case. Monarch Unlimited jumps up. So we'll see where this settles. I think we'll see what we're seeing in the other Mon, the first edition, and it will come back down. As long as it stays above this range, we'll be fine, but we'll probably have a couple weeks before we see that. Premium's intact. Moving on to Tales of Aria. Wow, that's some weirdness. So $1 ARB opportunity, nothing weird. What is this chart? I know I say it every week, but good God. This chart is so out of whack with everything that you can do in financial analysis. There's nothing you can do with this. It just is insane, especially considering this chart's just pretty solid and stable. Why is this one so crazy? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, moving on. Freaking Tales of Aria. It'd be the bane of my existence forever. I love it as a product, but the charts it makes are just insane. WTR first, like we said, artificial. Don't really focus on it or worry about it. This 20,000 is a real list price, so worth noting, but it's that one single data point. Technically an ARB opportunity, but that's definitely not going to work on WTR, so we can just move on from this. Not much to derive from here. ARC is just doing a stepladder thing, and the premium's intact. The downward track on this box with the case shooting up like that is actually pretty interesting. Makes me think this will reverse relatively quickly, so maybe this is a bit of a discount. Crew, another step ladder. We like that. We see it's cooling down and going sideways. I think we're going to see the same thing, generally speaking. And the premium's intact, so this is probably a little bit of a discount considering how tight this band has been historically. This is probably a pretty good discount right here for a box. The $700 box when it's $869. Doesn't mean this can't come down to meet it. But I do feel like this is a pretty solid one just because it's an older product. We know the print runs, etc. Monarch, yeah, it's just drifting off. I think it just went too fast. We talked about this here. We were like, that is unhealthy. This is unsustainable. And they did a second week. I think we're just got to cool down. I think this was way too, you see this distance? That's kind of where we should be. So right here, this price range, call it 500-ish. 510, I don't know, whatever that is. That seems like a reasonable place for it to settle down. If it bounces off of that and continues up, then we'll be in a pretty good spot. This case, again, we have a historically tight band with a few exceptions, right? And this is just a lagging, right? And so I would expect this to follow this, and this is probably a pretty good deal right now, especially with Mon first. I mean, we're about to get Dusk Till Dawn product release, and cold foils are cold foils, man. It's probably good stuff. I don't know. Maybe someone just dumped a bunch on the market because there was a lot printed, and more than the market was able to bear at the time. So there's a lot sitting on shelves in places. So maybe that's part of it. Tales of Aria, even in first edition, is just insane, and moving up and to the right, it's good. Let's get it back above that. Well, I guess current map. I actually don't remember what map was back then. But yeah, 350 is map now. I think it was like 315 or something. So it might already be above map. It doesn't. I don't think it's in map anymore. Tales of Aria. If it is, let me know in the comments. But yeah, just moving up. It's finally catching its chance. I think it has a lot of product out there, but I don't think it's as bad as people think. And first edition is first edition. Cold foils are cold foils, right? There'll be a demand for that. Everfest doesn't have an unlimited product. Still moving up, still below map. Kind of strange. We talked about this. I don't think it's supposed to be below map at this point, but we'll see what happens with that. Uprising, definitely not supposed to be at map. This drop off is nutso. Kind of makes me want to buy a case because that is really low. I wonder what happened there. Maybe a shop closed and just had a bunch on the shelf. That would be unfortunate. That would be really unfortunate. $7 ARB opportunity, so nothing too crazy, but that seems like a really low price for a 2.0 product. Makes me a little uncomfortable, I'll be honest. Dynasty kind of doing the post-release thing, and now the new set's out. Supplemental sets, I have a feeling, are going to have a downward pressure for a while until they age out, just because they're supplemental. You can't draft them. There's no inherent demand to them. The demand is purely based on card need and very specific, trying to crack packs for it, which with the singles market as liquid as it is, I think it's very reasonable for people to just buy the singles. Until buyouts really hit Dynasty hard, I don't think you'll see this kind of have the upward pressure that other sets do, because there's, like I said, there's no inherent demand, and you can always just buy singles when you're looking for a specific class. Why get a pack that has all the classes when you can just get the class you're playing? There's total reason to understand how this is going. I hope in the future when they release print runs, they show that they're tightening up on these supplemental sets, because I have a feeling they were right the first time with Crew. They printed a lot less of Crew first edition than would be the expected ratio, especially if you take into consideration the unlimited and limited version. So I think that's the move for supplemental sets, but I have a feeling they're still trying to figure it out and weigh it out. And it can't be easy the way the data's looked. Yeah, we do have an ARB opportunity. It's $7 here as well. Nothing too much to talk about with that. And Outsiders is down post-release, so we got the pre-release hype down. When this check mark curves back up, assuming it maintains its liquid market situation, then I think it'll be good. Cool thing, $9 ARB opportunity. It almost makes it worth it to buy the case, crack them, and sell them. Not quite there yet if you count taxes and fees and stuff. So yeah, that's it on the markets. I hope you guys are enjoying this game that we love, and let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to hear about going forward. Tommy and I will be doing the Fab Watch on Monday, so you'll get that content. Well, we do it on Sunday, but it comes out on Monday. You'll get that content on the per card basis. Really enjoying that. I know a lot of you are enjoying that. But yeah, until next time, have a good one.